just come out of Home Sound, and then we're going to go along this bit of the coast. I might nip through there if I've got the guts, and then into Deer Sound. This is Coppin Say, and I chickened out going in through the back. I've gone through this gap here and up there, but I've decided to come out and round, just because I don't really know what goes on here. This is not a very big scale shark.
I always find a smidge of geological knowledge helps to understand a landscape. So here we go, Orkney geology in a minute or two. Those with educated eyes who know their gneisses from their gabbros, the geology can be read like the pages of a really, really old book. The rocks that currently lie exposed along the coast of Orkney were laid down around 390 million years ago. The continents and land masses we humans are temporarily inhabiting float around on the surface of the earth, like scum on boiling jam, as Mr. Hyde, my old geography teacher, used to describe it. These continental masses move very, very slowly, driven by the hot, molten stuff at the core of the earth, slowly drifting around at about an inch a year. I should say at this point that fundamentalist Christians and other tinfoil hattists believe this is all nonsense. Here are the past 400 years going backwards. The blob of gubbins that was destined to become Scotland was once down below the equator and was often underwater, sometimes salt water and sometimes fresh. Occasionally it got so salty it became like the Dead Sea in Israel, so the fossils come and go through the layers of rock. There's nothing new about climate change, just the rate at which we humans have managed to make it happen. Here to illustrate the point nicely is a Japanese tourist who's blown about 12 tons of CO2 in exchange for a swim in a large puddle of very salty water in the Middle East. So these sheets, slabs and layers represent 400 million year old mud on top of desert sand, followed by more mud and more sand. These then got depressed by the layers above as the whole shebang crept northwards at the stately rate that these things happen. Then, a couple of million years ago, the ice sheets started ebbing and flowing across here, and rather surprisingly, the weight of the ice shoved the rocks down below sea level, which is also going up and down like a yo-yo. Then the ice retreated and the weight was released, and the raft of rock bobbed back to the surface to reveal the cliffs I can sail past today. Scotland is expected to carry on northwards, and eventually, despite almost anything us humans can dream up in terms of global warming, the ice will return, the rocks will sink down below sea level again and probably rise again, and one day the total record of human existence will be nothing more than one tiny sliver of rock, like a page in this ancient book. So, where does that leave God? Dunno is the answer to that one. If he's anywhere in this story, then he's to be found buried deep in the beautiful physics. Although my guess is that he's probably not here at all. Or if he is here, he doesn't care.
Just coming across the top of this is Mull Head here. The water is just piling out of here now, so 26 metres underneath us, so I'm reasonably content that this is just caused by two blocks of water coming together as opposed to something under the surface. This Jill.
I get scared.
Tide was just whipping round the corner. There was a real good area of disturbed air. And so I thought, well, I'll turn on the engine and motor around the corner. And the engine was going at this speed, which is probably 5 knots. And she was moving at 0.4 of a knot. So I've come away from the head where it won't be bunching up, and then we're going to turn down and into Deer Sound. So we're just motoring around here. You can see these outfalls here. We're now doing a more respectable 2.1 knots, which I can live with. So it's still running at probably 3 knots here.
This was our first encounter with an Orkney tidal rip, a tamish 5 knots close under the cliffs where the water is 22 metres deep. Out here, just 200 yards from the cliffs, in 30 metres, it's a lot less.
2 knots, we are winning.
But just a few yards around the headland we found a little countercurrent that allowed us to sail and to listen. Good, eh?
Just killed the engine for a moment or two to see if I can sail against. It's not a massive amount of wind, but it is a reach.
Are you good at going backwards, steering?
Yeah. Are we going backwards?
Yeah. Quite fast now.
Deer Sound. Yeah. We're sailing up the east coast because the predominant winds are from the north and the west, and this is one giant protected bay. So, oh, there's the Navy. Also, Navy. Down here it's about 1 o'clock, so we'll have the anchor dropped by 2:30, and then we'll go ashore. There are some fantastic caves to look at. we're really only doing tide speed.
Sound, we had planned to take full advantage of Scotland's excellent right to roam rules and take a long walk ashore. But it was more like a hit and run between showers. We were soon scuttling back to the warmth and comfort of Harmony.
Just in case you thought the Orkney was relentless sunshine. Yeah, that's pretty manky. I think we might be here for a bit longer than we thought. Not as bad as we thought, was it? Not yet.
Not yet.
It's all bay though, really.
Next morning didn't look that much better, but we set off and picked up the powerful tide that soon had us romping along the sound between Shapinsay and the main island. It was a fast fetch with the tide surging underneath us, and the light playing tricks with the surrounding islands and threatening clouds made it a magical experience.
7 knots, 7.5 knots. Not bad. It's not a tide.
Going down any of the straits which are treacherous.
This is buoyed here. This is the main channel in and out. And it's sheltered in this direction.
Then around the corner and heading for Kirkwall. Suddenly, we weren't alone anymore.
That was good.
They're getting into the dinghy.
Good. practice.
At the mouth of Kirkwall Sound is a small island where they used to banish the ne'er-do-wells. If any young lad got into a fight or was a little light-fingered or was suffering with excessive libido, he might be banished to the island for a week or a month, depending on the severity of the offence. It was up to his friends or family to row over food and water until he was given permission by the elders to return to decent God-fearing society. If he was so horrible that no one liked him enough to bring over supplies, then he was in for an extremely unpleasant time until the authorities relented. It seems a pretty sensible system to me, and much better than any ASBO dreamed up by today's justice system. Then we came into Kirkwall Harbour, with its pontoons, power showers and all the delights of civilization. As luck would have it, it was Orkney Festival Week. Music and events going on all over the place to keep us busy while the wind howled. Oh yes, and it really was howling.